Welcome. I'm your host, Bruce, with Prephoops, your boys' high school basketball content writer, exposure scout, and rankings expert. Don't forget to use code Bruce Prephoops to get 50% off your subscription to Prephoops.com to stay on top of all your boys' high school basketball information. Go to Prephoops.com. I'm here today with another episode of my all-net show. I've got my host, former single-season scoring leader in the state of California, a UNLV Rebel from 1999 to 2022. He was named by the Las Vegas Review-Journal as one of the 60 greatest Rebels of all time. He was a baseball pitcher. We won't get into that. Two-way sports star, my man Lou Kelly. Lou, what's up?
How you doing? Just finished coaching a tournament, bragging rights, Las Vegas Knicks, my man Lamar Bigby. Put on an excellent tournament. My 17U just went 4-0. Sebastian Mack played for my team this weekend, 50 points. So I've seen a lot of Prephoops players in the tournament and looking forward to covering them, Bruce.
Let the people know where they can find you at on your social media. I know a lot of people are going to be trying to hit you up to play for your Las Vegas Shooters after this successful weekend.
The LV Shooters on Instagram. Pretty simple. DM me, hit me up. No pressure, no politics, real simple play, have good grades. Simple as that.
As for me, you can stay up to date with all your high school basketball information by following my social media channels. I put out a ton of sleepers, a ton of stock risers. On Twitter, you can go to 7-Ounce B-Ball Club 1. You can go to Bruce Prephoops on IG to stay up to date with all your boys' high school basketball information. We have a terrific show set up for you today. We're going to recap the Balldawgs All-Star Game. We're going to talk a little Prephoops circuit. I've got my special guest, ex-pro, in the house, and we're going to sit down and talk with some of the stars of the Prephoops circuit. Give me 1/2 second, and we'll be right back. The Spring Valley Grizzlies Summer Tournament is back. It is being hosted by Coach Paul Blair and the Spring Valley Grizzlies. The tournament is going to run from June 20th until June 26th. From June 20th through the 23rd, JV teams will be participating. From the 24th through the 26th, it's open to varsity high school teams from around the Western region. We've got all the teams in 4A Las Vegas who are committed. For information about registering for the event, email 7ounceballclub@gmail.com to secure your spot for this summer's biggest high school event here in Las Vegas, the Spring Valley Grizzlies Summer Tournament. We are back. So on Sunday, May 1st, the third annual Balldawgs All-Star Game took place at Spring Valley High School. I was fortunate to be a part of it. Lou, you were there. What'd you think of the event?
I love it. Great event. Exposure for the kids is always good. Some of my favorite players, Tavy Jackson, the best player in the state, was on the court. Some of my Las Vegas shooter kids were on the floor, Phoenix and Dontrell. So for me, it was wonderful as a coach to see my guys out there participating in that great All-Star game and, you know, look forward to watching everybody's careers as they try to go on to college.
It was absolutely fabulous. Big shout out to the local game MVP, Desert Pines' own Jameer Stevens. He was fabulous. 6'2" combo guard, showed why he is a great pickup for Snow College with his performance in the game. He was named MVP of the local All-Star game. The dunk contest winner was Emmanuel Hansel. The YouTube sensation was terrific in the game. The National All-Star Game, and both sides, it was a great experience. I had the opportunity to actually coach the gray team in that game. But I wanted to really talk about some of the performances I saw on the other from my opponents in that game. Arterio Morris was absolutely tremendous in that game. And I'm going to go on a limb on record right now and say in 2 years, you are not going to hear 10 players call before you hear Arterio Morris's name. Just loved his overall game, smooth, able to get his own shot. What did you think of Arterio?
Future pro. College standout, definitely will be a good college player. Stats, numbers, efficient, heart, determination, leader. You know, was really blown away by his talent. And like I said, for me, I know I say this a lot and everybody hates it. I'm a Tavy Jackson guy. I mean, the kid could do no wrong in my eyes. Playing in the All-Star game, playing amongst some of the better people in the country. A lot of people didn't know, and I had the privilege of being at the Iverson Classic this year and seeing all the kids that are going to were in the McDonald's All-American game and going to some of the top 50 schools. Tavy belongs in that group. I have never seen the kid this good, this slept on. Why? I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't like the politics of sometimes in sports, but this kid is amazing. Like I said, watching him compete against that level of player, he's right at the top for me in the country.
One of the things that was so much fun for me is, as a scout, you can only really get so close to the game, right? Like, you can't really be in the battle with the guys. And it was fun actually to be on the bench and see the competitive spirit of some of my guys. And that's kind of when I started realizing how good Tavy Jackson was, because on our bench, he was a problem. I mean, it was just a problem from, trying to stop and contain an explosive guy. I mean, I thought Chance Westry as well was tremendous in that game. I think Chance is a future first-round pick, but I don't think Jackson's much far off. I mean, I immediately text Colorado State and let them know, hey, man, you guys are really lucky this kid didn't play on the EYBL or some of those other circuits, because you would have never gotten him. I mean, he looks like the type of player that's going to have a long career playing the game of basketball. He was absolutely tremendous in the game. I do want to give some love to my squad, though. I want to give a big shout out to my man Dylan Andrews, 6'2 guard, 6'2 PG. He is headed to UCLA, one of the toughest competitors I've ever had a chance to be around. I'm going to give you guys a little insight into the huddle. About 4 minutes to go. Lou, you were there. The game was pretty close. We had all come to the agreement that, hey, man, Chance, Arterio, and Tavy are killing us. Would someone like to guard one of these guys? There was one guy in the huddle who raised his hand. It was Dylan Andrews. He said, I'll do it, coach. I'll take on the challenge. Tremendous, tremendous player. Tell me about your thoughts on Dylan.
The mixtapes have ruined the game. Much as we like to see them, they're exciting. Some guys, get exposure from it. This kid didn't care about none of that. His kid was like, I got him. I'm going to guard either one of them, if both, if need be. UCLA's getting a stud at the point guard spot. I think that kid has a chance to be a pro in a couple years as well. I like everything about him. As a coach myself, seeing a kid that will demand respect in a huddle, in an all-star game, by the way, you never see that because there's no defense. That kid took it serious, and he upped his stock.
I want to make sure I also give love to my bigs in that game. Vincent Iwachuka. Vincent, I'm sorry if I butcher your last name, but I got much love for this kid. I mean, you can always tell when a guy's engaged. To this kid, it mattered to him whether we won the game when there was 4 minutes to go. I'm not making this up. He came to me and said, Coach, I'll just rebound and block shots. And it was at that moment I realized, oh, yeah, every coach in the country is going to want a piece of this kid.
Winners win all the time. He had about, 4 or 5 blocks easy?
Yeah.
Rim protector, obviously key rebounder, can finish around the hoop, super athletic. Another kid that's going to do very well in college.
He also had a huge play for us, getting an offensive rebound and a putback late in the game. I thought he was tremendous. Aiden Shaw, love Aiden, man. I've been watching Aiden play at Pangos' events for the last 3 years, and I mean, he is what he is. He's a 6'8" athlete, but he's not too good to get his hands dirty. I thought he was tremendous, hedging, switching ball screens for us and giving us rebounding. And I also thought I got to give some love to Colin Chandler, man. BYU is going to get one of the sleepers. They're going to go crazy for this kid up in Provo. He was absolutely tremendous for us. Just does all the right things. Made every correct play when the ball found him. So he was huge. But I also want to give love to all the other guys that helped us get a win in that game. It was a great, great experience being able to coach and be around some of the top players in the country.
Yeah, I'm spoiled as well. Sometimes, obviously I have Sebastian Mack on my team, Dontrell Johnson, obviously Phoenix Wortham. You get spoiled sometimes because you're coaching them and you forget to be a fan. Well, that weekend, and shout out to Neil and Balldawgs because they did host a great event, put on for the city. I got to sit back and watch and observe and really watch the down screens, watch the extra passes, watch the guys in the huddle, which is big for me, watch how the guys act off the court. And a lot of these kids are going to go play junior college as well as Division I. And like I said, hats off to all of them because they all conducted themselves the right way.
I also want to thank Balldogs. We will be awarding free Balldogs merchandise to some of our social media influencers that helped retweet and post the show. So toward the end of the show, we will be announcing who's going to win some of that free Balldogs merchandise. Great event. Thanks again to Neil and Balldawgs for putting it on. I can't wait for the number 4 of the Balldawgs National All-Star Game. When we come back, we will talk a little prep hoop circuit as well as bring in our ex-pro. We are back. The prep hoop circuit is in full swing. It's hard for me to believe that we've already completed 6 stops, and it's provided me an opportunity to see a ton of players. Now, a little bit about the prep hoop circuit. We are the largest independent grassroots circuit in America. I specifically cover the Hustle Region circuit, which consists of teams from California, Oregon, Washington, Nevada, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona. What makes our circuit unique is that it runs parallel to our online coverage. So what that means is we provide maximum exposure to kids and it allows us to go deep into the coverage. We're not just covering the top players, we're covering all prospects at every event. Some recent players that have played on the prep hoop circuit include Jalen Washington, committed to UNC, Nick Smith, who is headed to Arkansas, AJ Storr, former Bishop Gorman player who is headed to St. John's, and the aforementioned Taviante Jackson from Colorado State. Lou, you played in a few prep hoop circuit events with your shooters. How was your experience?
Great. Writers come out, cover it as yourself, Bruce. You know, me as a coach, we have to always make sure that the writers are going to be there because we need the information relayed to the college coaches. It really makes no sense to play AAU and not have the credentials of the top writers there. But at the same time, there's a lot of tournaments that don't. Prep Hoops makes sure that it is covered, games are on time, quality of coaching, and it's impactful for the kids because players as well as teams come from all over the country to play in your guys' certified events. Now,
as I mentioned, I've seen a ton of players. I want to run through my top 5 sleepers that I've seen so far in the Hustle region. Coming in at number 5, Ziggy Holmes, 6'3" small forward out of Seattle, Washington, Rainier Beach High School. He's the son of former Louisville All-American Terrence Williams. Freak athlete, long arms, one of the best undersized rebounders that I've seen so far on the circuit. Coming in at number 4, Xavier Ogle, 6'2" point guard from D1 Southern California out of San Diego, California. Cerebral point guard that understands when he needs to get a bucket himself as well as get his teammates involved. Good size for the position, good skill set. That's Xavier Ogle. Number 3, Ryan Dixon, 6'6", power forward out of Denver, Colorado, plays for Team Revenge. A really, really talented face-up 4 guy that has the ability to put the ball on the ground for 1 or 2 dribbles and get all the way to the rim, as well as stretch the floor from the 4 position. Number 2, Zaire Johnson Curry, 6'5", power forward from Rancho Elite out of Southern California. Great physical specimen with long arms that can jump out of the gym. And our number 1 sleeper that I've seen so far, Big Zane Gall, 6'10" center, plays for D1 New Mexico out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Gall changes ends of the floor fluidly, and he has a nice touch around the basket with the ability to score over his left shoulder with his strong hand. He is our number 1 sleeper because of his size, and with his size and as he increases production, he will definitely be on the radar of more and more coaches. Lou, any comments on these sleepers?
Terrence Williams' son, super athlete, watched him on film, jump out of the gym, shot blocker, aggressive rebounder, NBA pedigree, so the DNA flows deep from his father, obviously, and watch his dad play, so this kid looks like he has all the trims and tools to become pretty much just like his father, so that's the biggest sleeper to me.
Now I want to talk a little bit about our top 5 stock risers, and in my opinion, the best use of the Prep Hoops platform is to allow people that a lot of other people have not seen to provide a platform for them to blow up. You saw it last year with Taviante Jackson. This year, we've got several stock risers. Coming in at number 5 on my top stock risers list is Lenny Washington, 6'5" small forward, plays for the New Mexico Rebels out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Smooth scorer that can shoot the ball from the 3-point line as well as get all the way to the rim and finish above the rim. Coming in at number 4, Alan Acevedo, 6-foot point guard, plays for the Colorado Titans out of Boulder, Colorado. My man Alan needs some love. He does not fit the prototypical look of a point guard. However, he is a winner, does all the little things. High IQ guy, can shoot it if you leave him open, but his best skill is getting everybody on his team playing at a tempo that they can be successful with. He's my number 4 stock riser, Alan Acevedo. Coming in at number 3, Parker Garrett, 6'1", combo guard out of Roots Academy. He is actually our number 2 ranked player in the class of 2023 in the state of Washington. And I will tell everyone, he is a straight bucket. Undersized, I get it, but he shoots the ball. I mean, he's one of the better shooters we have on the West Coast. And he doesn't just do it from the three-point line. He also can use his mid-range to knock down shots. He's my number 3 stock riser, Parker Garrett. Coming in at number 4, Big Luke Wagstaff. 6'7", power forward. He's a load. I love big body bangers. I know we live in the era of the stretch 4, but this kid has all the tools with his back to the basket, finishes with both hands effectively, has good size, and he plays hard. That's Luke Wagstaff, 6'7", power forward out of Denver, Colorado, playing for Team Dom. And my number 1 stock riser so far on the prep hoop circuit. And if you haven't seen this kid, he's a mix of a stock riser and a sleeper. Cade Stevens, 6'7", small forward, plays for Elevation Flight out of Denver. And I'm going to tell you something. Don't go crazy when I say this. But Luka Doncic has made me realize how important fundamentals are to the game. And when you see Cade Stevens, you will understand what I mean. The kid uses pump fakes, jab steps, crossover jab stacks. He's got every sort of footwork move, fundamental footwork move that you need to be good, and then he mixes it with shooting ability and good run and jump athleticism. I was blown away by his ability when I saw him in Denver, and in my opinion, he has no offers now. He's no worse than a low major plus player. He's my number 1 stock riser, Cade Stevens from Denver. Lou, any comments about these stock risers?
Unfortunately, Cade Stevens, we had to play against him, and he gave us 25. He rebounded very well. He made shots. He jab stepped us. He pump faked. Hate to admit, he scored. He beat us. You know, his way of style of play is a little different, but it does work, and I think it will translate well to the next level.
I hope a lot of kids also pay attention. I mean, obviously at this level, we're talking about a high school kid, but one of the things the playoffs has taught me watching guys like Luka Doncic, Jalen Brunson, is that fundamentals is what matter in basketball. And the guys that understand how to use ball fakes, use jab steps, use pass fakes are guys that are going to be successful for the longest. So I'm really, really glad you said that about Cade. Now, my top game of the halfway point of the prep hoop circuit was actually in week 1 out in California, where we had a terrific matchup between Game Point IE versus California Select Gold, which featured some of the top middle school players in all the West Coast. The game was won 62-57 by California Select. However, there were several kids in there that we're going to be hearing about at the high school level. Mason McGee, who was a 5'11" point guard out of Phoenix, Arizona. He has an upper body frame that makes you think that he's all ready to play in the Big East. Just explosive, gets to the rim, understands the game at a high level, and is willing to defend. Does not shoot the ball at a high level today, however, does everything well. He was terrific in that game. Jaden Gray, another player for California Select. I thought he was fabulous. Jaden is a high motor two-way guy that's able to defend the 1, 2, and 3 at his level. He is class of 2026. He was able to get steals, get all the way to the rim in transition. He was terrific in that game. For Game Point, Jeremiah Prophet. You guys better learn the name now. Jeremiah Prophet is a 6'6", small forward, class of 2027. Yeah, that's right, a 7th grader, and he's got skills. He's one of the rare players that I've seen in that level that is actually effective playing off the ball. Prophet already understands how to come off screens, and in that game, he was terrific coming off down screens and flex screens to get open and shoot the ball. He has a strap from behind the three-point line, and when you combine that with his prototypical wing size, he's a player to keep an eye on. And finally, Aaron Banks. For my money, he is the best defensive player I've seen in middle school so far. He is elite on ball, and watching him and Mason McGee go at it was just a thing of beauty. He was terrific in the game. McGee's team got the better of him, but Banks was able to make him work for everything. I've seen the kid play multiple times, and his ability to move laterally, his ability to use his quick hands to get deflections and just cause havoc has been terrific. That was my number 1 game of the year. Lou, comments or anything about not just the game, but any of those young players?
I love to see competitive basketball 6th through 8th grade. You know, it sets the table for what's coming in the future. You guys do excellent with the prep hoops next because it does give them the proper platform. Game Point, I've seen them play several times. Actually, this past weekend, I've seen their older program. They do a very good job, coach well. And I love to see programs start with the youth because obviously that's the next level coming up in the future.
When we come back, we are going to talk with our special guest NBA pro. We're going to bring in some of the stars of the prep hoop circuit. We will be right back to talk a little more about the midpoint of the Prep Hoops Hustle Region Circuit. I am super, super excited to introduce my special guest, ex-pro, former Georgetown Hoya great, first-round pick and arguably one of the greatest draft classes of all time in 1996, a 9-year NBA vet. He played with the Toronto Raptors, the Chicago Bulls, the New York Knicks, former vice chairman of the Retired NBA Players Association. He is none other than Jerome JYD Williams. JYD, did I forget any of your accomplishments?
Hey, you forgot the dog pound Detroit Pistons. That's all.
How could I forget the dog pound Detroit Pistons? You didn't play with so many teams and made an impact on so many organizations. My bad, man. It's great. It's very great to have you on the show. Talk to me a little bit about what you've been up to so far.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Obviously, just working out with a lot of these kids. Love seeing good coaching out there in the field, like Coach Lou Kelly doing a great job with the youth. I'm doing the same, just giving back in my early retirement from the NBA. As you know, I got a youngster out there, Jeremiah the Dog Williams, my namesake, my young fella. He's getting it done in the class of 2028 right now. Sixth grader, young sixth grader, 12 years old, but getting that work in, just dropped, a 15-piece nugget in his last game today, and 5 rebounds, 5 assists. And that's what it's all about, just helping the next generation. And when I'm not doing that, I'm working on the NIL, name, image, and likeness with IP FAMBA, trying to bring parity from middle school to high school to college, and college to professional ranks in the NIL space. Kids have a lot of opportunities out there right now, so we want to not only educate them, but point out a lot of these things that they can get involved with, including NFTs.
I'm glad you mentioned your experience having your son play as well. What is it that you believe that your past experience as a professional player not only helps him with, but also with some of the other kids you coach and things like that? What kind of experience do you believe that you can help them learn from?
Well, the main thing is seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. A lot of people, parents, I should say, go about, teaching their kids or trying to, get their kids acclimated to different sports.
Let me know.
Basketball, because I've, made it from one end of the spectrum to the other, is something that I've already seen and how to get to the finish line. And I can't harp on it enough. Skill development. What I tell players and parents all the time is sometimes not advantageous just to be on an AAU team. You got to be in an area where they can develop their skill sets. And from a young age, it's hard to catch up to kids that have been in the lab working on ball handling or confident with the ball, can shoot basketball. These are all things that are tough as parents. So I try to teach that aspect of the game.
That's perfect. So we're going to bring on a couple of our kids that are having a great season on the Prep Hoop circuit, and we'd love for you to have a chance to impart some of that wisdom on them. Does that sound good?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So the first kid that we have on here, he is a 6'1" point guard in the class of 2024. He is the reigning 4A Player of the Year. He led the state of Nevada in scoring last year as a sophomore. He is one of the most talented offensive weapons that we have in the state. He's one of the best shooters, not only in catch and shoot situation, but this boy knows how to put it down, create space, and shoot the basketball. He is none other than Spring Valley superstar Elijah Adem. Elijah, what's up?
What's up?
Man, it's been a crazy, crazy whirlwind season for you. Can you talk a little bit about how your success in high school has helped carry over and help you have success playing in some of the Prep Hoop circuit events?
I say it gave me some confidence, like knowing what I could do and knowing that I could do that in other levels, not just that. And yeah, that's all that helped them.
Lou?
how is it playing for your father in AAU? I know that's a tremendous bond that you guys have and trust. Explain a little more in detail what it is to like to play for Pops.
It's fun, but even though he's on me, like most of the time, it's still fun though because he helps me and I'll be able to play free, and I know I can play free. And yeah.
Elijah, now have you had a chance to talk, or have you met Jerome? I know he's out here in Las Vegas a lot. Have you guys been introduced?
Nah, I've seen him though.
Jerome, what words of wisdom would you like to impart on a young upcoming player like Elijah?
Well, the good thing is I have seen Elijah play. He's definitely got a lot of talent. And I like to see him, work out. Just know that his dad loves him. One thing as a dad, when you coach your son, it's sometimes hard for them to, separate the two. So most importantly, enjoying the game as you're being coached. Enjoy what you're doing out there on the court. Seeing your teammates. Elijah's a playmaker, so that's one thing that I definitely noticed and picked up about his game. And from that perspective, it's a lot of decision making. So watch a lot of film. Figure out where some things were after the game you can correct. See the court in a different way when you slow the tape down. Those are some of the things I would definitely want to give him as some advice.
Now, JYD, I know you made your money as a rebounder and a front court guy, but a lot of people don't know that you actually, coming out of junior college, played a little point guard. Can you talk about just not only how important it is to have, the skills for your position, but to be skilled, overall in the game of basketball?
Oh, it's very important. It's very important to be skilled in the game of basketball. Coming out of junior college, I averaged 30 points and 18 rebounds a game. And over 5 assists. And that's, it's a little bit of dog pound action in the back. But, and that's the kind of thing where I got on a team like Georgetown where the talent was through the roof. We had 6 pros on the team, NBA pros. And, everybody can't score. Everybody can't be ball dominant. And, where I came out of a situation where I was ball dominant, I was the best rebounder, not only on my team, but in the Big East. And my coach recognized that. And he said, look, you could, be out here and get a position where you're scoring and this and that. But, we have scorers. So what can you do? If you rebound the ball, you're going to make a lot of money. And as a young person, it's hard to understand that. It's hard to say to yourself, what do you mean? I can make a lot of money doing what I do, but you're just telling me all you need me to do is rebound. Well, let that sink in, because I had to let it sink in, and I had to, watch my teammate, my brother, Allen Iverson, do what he does. And as everybody has seen, he's a top 75 player in the world of basketball, right? And I played with him. So if my number one skill set was to get him the ball and then go back and get his misses, hey, I accepted that role. As hard as it is, you accept the role in my era, and then you play off of that. But I only accept the role, but also I had to have other skills. So just having the role as a rebounder is one thing. The skill set of being able to score, being able to, find teammates, get them open looks, that's also a skill. So that skill got me starting positions in every team I played for in the NBA. Over a 9-year career, 7.5 of those years were starters. Was as a starter.
Was there a point in your career? I mean, I do a lot with high school basketball. We're talking to Elijah Adem here, who is a sophomore. Is there a point in your career or a moment in your career where you knew that you would have an opportunity to play and be an NBA player?
After my junior year at Georgetown, there was a lot of talk about me being a NBA player. And there was, times when I said, wow, I don't know if I'm ready for all that. You're watching Michael Jordan play. You're watching Charles Barkley in the finals. You're watching players like Patrick Ewing, Alonzo Mourning just kill. And I'm just saying to myself, I don't know. Grant Hill was just starting in the league. They had a lot of up-and-coming guards like big power forwards like Chris Webber, Rasheed Wallace, hugely athletic, and they're guarding guys like Karl Malone. And I'm saying I gotta rebound and play against these guys night in and night out. So at the end of the day, I think it just boiled down to me just saying, hey, everybody has a skill. But at Georgetown, we got a chance to play against a lot of pros in that gym. They come in, they play against us because of Coach Thompson. And that when I saw I could score against them, and I could do well against them. Now, they obviously were pros, so I got a chance to see how good they actually were. I said to myself, well, maybe I can make it. Maybe I can be out here, right?
JY, Luke Kelly here, man. I love hearing the aspect of what you're breaking it down and telling everybody how it was in the Big East, the greatest basketball conference for years, especially in the 90s. Can you explain what was your living conditions like as a college athlete, as well as your pre-draft situation as far as workouts and how you prepared for the draft?
Oh, that's great. When I was at Georgetown, I had a regular dorm, one bathroom, and it was great living because you were around other students. Wasn't nothing special about it. Stayed on campus right there, got to class every day, never missed a class. Graduated on the dean's list at Georgetown. And then when I got to the end of the season there and end of my senior year, I started to travel around to do the workouts and do the, visit and visit and interview with teams. I interviewed with 22 out of 30 teams in the NBA. 22 out of 30. I worked out, did well in my workouts, and not one of those teams drafted me. I was drafted by a team that didn't even work me out, the Detroit Pistons. So it just goes to show anything can happen in the draft. As you said, is the number one draft in NBA history is class of '96.
Facts.
So they talked about me being a lottery pick. They invited me. I still got my letter to this day that says I was going to be a lottery pick, and that didn't happen. But when I got picked and you get your opportunity, whatever team that is, you got to make it happen.
Is the combine as rigorous as the NFL combine as we see on TV? I don't want to call it the meat show, but it is kind of ridiculous at times what they put the players through. Explain the NBA part of the process when it comes to the draft combine.
Well, it's a great process because you got former players coaching. I had John Lucas as my coach. John Lucas was my coach at the pre-draft. And at that time, there were two pre-draft. There was one in Phoenix called the Desert Classic, and there was Chicago. The Desert Classic was first, and that was one that only had the high school seniors, because at the time, those were the best players before everybody started coming out early. So all the All-Americans were there, and Steve Nash was my point guard, and we both split point guard duties. John Lucas said if I get the ball, everybody else run, and they let me play my game. I ended up averaging the most points on our team, 17 points, 12 rebounds a game, and 5 assists. And I beat out Steve Nash for the MVP of the whole camp. So that was my pre-draft experience. Everybody knows Steve Nash was a Hall of Famer, that he was my teammate for that weekend. And we worked out and didn't lose a game. So, dog pound.
I want to bring Alijah back in. Alijah, that was some great information about JYD talking about his college experience. I want to take a second to talk to you. I know you've been offered by IUPUI, but can you talk about some of the other schools recently that have been interested in you? Because I'm going to let you know my phone stays blowing up with schools wanting to know more about Elijah Adem. So can you talk a little bit about some of the schools and some of the programs that have started reaching out to you?
Yeah, I heard stuff from Colorado, San Diego, Colorado State, and San Diego, West Virginia. Those are some schools I'm hearing from right now.
Where would you like to go? Give me your top 3 fantasy, if you can control your destiny where you want it to go. What schools would you pick and put on that list?
Kentucky for sure.
Okay, one.
Duke probably,
Okay.
and probably school close like
UNLV.
UCLA.
All right.
Georgetown.
Don't forget Georgetown.
UNLV.
Hey Elijah, you know, a lot of kids talk about the schools that are interested in schools they like, but what I'm actually more interested in knowing is what's important to you about the school that you choose. Is it the fit? Is it, like we talked about, the location? What is important to you?
The fit for sure, and if they let me play my game and like don't try to like put me in a box and like only can play a certain way with them, that too. I want to be able to play free, be able to play my way.
And you've got, a former college All-American, former JUCO All-American, an NBA vet here. What question would you like to ask to help to pick his brain to perhaps help yourself in your basketball career?
I would like to ask, how much work do they put in, like each and every day, to get where they want to go?
That's a great question, brother. One thing I did every day is I put the ball on the court. I dribbled my basketball all throughout campus, going to class, out of class, to practice, coming back from practice. I always dribbled the basketball. That seems like a small thing, but when you talk about being able to dribble through zone presses in the Big East, being able to command the ball, find open teammates, you got to have that ball on the string. So that's one thing I, really was passionate about. And in DC, it was a big thing to have handles, like really legit handles. And they saw you wearing the high socks, they knew your handles was crisp. So ball handling was my thing. And at 6'9", that's a problem. So that's the first and most important piece of advice I can give any young player, especially those who can play make. The second thing is being able to guard. One thing about playing free is that's the offensive end, but the defensive end is what wins championships and gets you picked as an NBA player. If you're not a lottery pick, that means you're not a player that is going to score at a tremendous clip, or you're a freak athlete that's 6'9", 6'10", 6'11", 7 foot and up, that has Tracy McGrady, Tim Duncan, those kind of accolades.
I would say game speed. Practice at game speed. Do everything hard. You don't got to be in the gym for hours and hours upon hours like everybody does. Practice at game speed. You and your pops got a great understanding of how your game is. You're a terrific shooter. My thing with you, I like to watch you play because you're a great leader. That's your program. You command the ball. You take shots late game, which means you're really a good star. But practice at game speed. Always lead. Always be first in the gym, last to leave. People will gravitate to you if you're that guy all the time. And what I've seen from you as a young player, that you have a circle around you. It's an aura about yourself as a young man. And that's a great thing to have, Adem, because a lot of kids don't understand that. And just keep the momentum, bro. Proud of you. We're watching. And obviously Bruce is enjoying ranking you. We're going to watch you for years to come.
All right. Thank you.
Now, the next guest that I want to bring on the show is a 6-foot combo guard from the IE. He has been tremendous, shoots the heck out of the ball, one of the better scorers we have, a winner. He's helped the IE Fire to a 15-1 record so far on the Prephoops Hustle Region circuit. What I like most about him is his willingness to defend. Great instincts, plays the passing lanes well. That is Ely Elegado. Ely, what's up, man?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. The first question I have to ask you is, did you guys win the game today?
No, we didn't. We went 2-2 this weekend.
Okay. I hate to hear that. I mean, I know you're not used to losing. As I mentioned, you guys are 15-1 right now on the prep hoop circuit with the IE Fire. What's been kind of the secret to the hot start?
I think it's just like our play style, because we've been playing really good defense, getting out in transition, hitting open shots. And I think that's been leading to our success for the past month.
Now, you are a terrific scorer. I'm not sure if you're aware that I am actually sitting next to the all-time single-season scoring leader in the state of California, Lou Kelly. Lou, What would you like to give? What advice would you like to give to young Eli, who's one of the top scorers that we have on the prep hoop circuit?
Stay in the gym, work, shoot, game
Yeah.
speed, keep it light, stay active. Don't acquire about rust, meaning don't sit for a couple of days. If you're not in the gym, you can't get better. Find your teammates, do drills. If you're going to be the best player of your team, which it sounds like that you are, put them do the drills as well. Obviously you got to carry those guys, and they're part of your team. And I was from the same area, man. And sometimes we don't get the great coverage. Obviously, Prep Hoops make sure that's not a problem anymore. But for you, anytime you play in Los Angeles, obviously Southern California, Northern California, show out, man. Try to go somewhere local. You got USC, you got UCLA, big time schools. Just keep shooting that rock.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Eli, quick question for you. Every time I see IE play, it seems like there's a different guy on your team that steps up. Do you feel, how confident do you feel in the ability of some of your other teammates? And can you talk a little bit about the contributions that guys like Quincy and Andrew have had to your team, as well as Julius and things like that?
When I play, I feel like we're all equal. I feel like anyone can get a bucket when they want to. Anyone can score. Anyone can pass. I think our offense makes it so everyone can contribute to the win.
What's some of the things you've been working on right now in your game to improve?
Being in the gym every day, training with my trainers, team practices, just being in the gym every day. Yeah.
And I want you to sit back and imagine, let's go through, your dream world. If you could pick, the dream school that you would end up going to and play, let me know who it would be and why.
My dream school has always been UCLA for sure. So that's one. Hometown, San Diego State, for sure.
Okay.
And probably Duke, just because it's a powerhouse school. Yeah.
I like it. Location, San Diego State, you can't do better than weather area as well. And then Duke is Duke as well. What's next for you, and what's next for IE Fire as we wrap up the midseason of the Hustle Region circuit?
I feel like just to get more W's, just to keep going out there and performing, and keep getting W's, keep getting wins for our team.
Lou, you got the last word.
Who's better, Steph or Luka?
Right now, right now, Luka, I think. But the Warriors are gonna win the series for sure.
For sure, I got you. I hear you.
Yeah.
Mavs in 6. Thank you so much, Eli, man. I know that you had to I know you had to rush and take time out of your game. Really appreciate you coming on the All Net podcast. Really appreciate all the hard work that you've been putting in, and it's been fun watching you so far on the Prep Hoop circuit.
Thank you.
Perfect. We're going to take a little break. When we come back, we're going to wrap up the show, talk about where I'll be at next year. And Lou, talk about where I'll be at next week. And Lou, you can talk a little bit about what you've got going forward for the Las Vegas Shooters.
Sure, not a problem.
And we are back. Had a little technical difficulties, but so happy to connect again with our special guest, ex-pro, Jerome Williams. Jerome, we've got Ely Elegado here. What question would you like to ask this young sharpshooter out of California?
Hey, one thing I love about sharpshooters, Eli, is that when the ball is going in the basket, the coaches always say, keep shooting, keep shooting. But what happens when the ball is not going in the basket? What is your plan, when you're on a team with your teammates and you've missed a couple of shots? What is your mind telling you to do?
If my shots are falling in the offensive end, just to get it back on defense, pressure my man, try to get a steal, try to get another possession for my team. So, yeah.
And Eli is one of the best passing lane defenders we have on the circuit. Eli, Jerome has played, for some of the great Hall of Fame coaches. He's played with some of the great players in NBA history. What question would you love to ask him?
What was your high school regimen like for a high school like me, and get better as a player?
Yeah, to be quite honest, I wasn't as talented in high school. So a lot of the things that I see kids doing today is working on skill development. skill development is huge in high school, especially if you're trying to be a Division I player. I didn't do enough skill development in high school, and that's something that I can definitely say would have improved my game, and probably solidified me as a lottery pick had I done more of that in high school. So I definitely tell a lot of kids these days to make sure that you're putting in those hours. To be an expert at anything, you have to put in over 10,000 hours. And that's why it's harder to catch kids who have put in those hours as they play on the basketball court, because their confidence level is high. You being a shooter, shooting, 2, 3, 4, 500 shots a day, and those are makes, not just shots, is very critical, to be a top line player. So that's definitely type of advice I would give.
Jerome, while we have you, there's a question I'm sure we all want to know that I've always wanted to ask you. Right, you played with some great players, right? You played with Allen Iverson. You played with Othello Harrington, who I believe was also a first-round pick. You played with Tracy McGrady. You played with Vince Carter. Let me ask you this question. Last second of the game, you guys have the ball. Out of all those players, who gets the last shot and why?
All right, let me tell you something. I played with Scottie Pippen, Hakeem Olajuwon. I played with some other top players, Penny Hardaway, Stephon Marbury, AI, as you mentioned. The guy that we're going to with 5 seconds left in the game is somebody that I've seen score game winners on our team. It's not Grant Hill. It's not AI. It's Dream Shaker, Hakeem Olajuwon. Footwork, epitome of being able to pass out of the post and do things from the big man standpoint with his, feathery feet. I played with him at the end of his career, and he was a bucket getter.
That's perfect, man. You threw me off there. I was not going to go with Hakeem, but I mean, you can't argue with the dream. It was fabulous. Well, I appreciate both my guests, Ely, Alijah. I appreciate you guys coming on the show. Keep doing what you guys are doing. It's been so much fun watching you guys play so far on the circuit. To my special guest, JYD, we're going to let you get the last word. Let me know what you have going on, what's your movement, what's your foundation, what kind of other projects that you have going. We always love and are interested in hearing what you're doing in the community.
Absolutely, man. First and foremost, shout out to Prephoops for having me on the show. Been a great experience coming on your podcast, All Net Hoops. I want to give a huge shout out to my son, Jeremiah the Dog Williams. Follow him on Instagram. He's all about the dog pound. His highlights is happening, and he's going to be a top 2028 kid, hopefully in the future, God willing. I want all the parents out there who are watching the show to go to www.ipfamba. That's intellectual property for athletes, made by athletes.io. Sign your kid up today. Make sure you get him his own IP score. It'll benefit him in the getting into college. So if he's in middle school, he's in high school, this is the website for you, www.ipfamba, intellectual property for athletes, made by athletes, definitely for hoopsters. Get your NFT, get your IP score going so you can get into college, get recruited, and find your way to your destiny. And that's all sports. So huge shout out to Prephoops, again, for doing what you're doing in the community, creating tournaments, giving kids scouting reports and helping them on their journey. And that's what the game is all about. I have a huge shout out to the Dog Pound for making it, my dreams come true and supporting me throughout my career.
Whoa.
That's perfect, man. Lou?
The Dog Pound scared me right there. No, JY, stay safe, man. We love you, brother. Keep the momentum rolling. You already know.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate y'all.
Yep. Yeah, JY is one of my guys, man. I had the privilege of playing with him at Lifetime Fitness. Obviously, being an avid NBA fan and obviously college basketball nutcase, I wanted to go to the Big East. I was recruited by Syracuse, and I was going to be his rival, obviously. And, you know, it's great to see him still working, obviously, with his son, the new momentum, the new dog pound. Woo, 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 woo. He's going to keep that going. And LV Shooters, our program, real simple. We're going to play in a Bigfoot. We're going to play in tournaments all summer. The tournament that you're going to have June
20th through June 26th at Spring Valley High School.
There we go. And the goal is just to get kids to college. Real simple. It'll never change.
As for me, I will be in Portland, Oregon next week for our Prephoops Hustle Region Memorial Day Classic. I'm excited to get out there. You know, I play college basketball at Western Oregon, so I'm very, very familiar with the area. So I'm just really excited to see what kind of talent they have in the Pacific Northwest. June is a huge high school month, and you already touched a little bit on what we have going. I've been fortunate to partner with Spring Valley High School, and we're putting on the 4th annual Grizzly Summer Tournament. Elijah, I know I'll see you out there, so super happy about that. I'll be up in Salt Lake City covering the Great Western Classic for Tim Davis, and then I'll be out in Phoenix in Section 7. So, you know, it keeps going. I'll be out on the trail. As always, if you're looking for sleepers, stock risers, or any information about the upcoming players in your area, visit prephoops.com. Use Bruce Prep Hoops to get 50% off your subscription. You can follow me on social media at 7-Ounce B-Ball Club 1 on Twitter or Bruce Prep Hoops on IG. That's all for me. Fabulous show. Really appreciate it. Shooters, keep shooting. You guys keep doing what you're doing. Appreciate all of you.